X-Death is your personal favorite villain? Yeah. I really like X-Death is just one of those characters who just they keep making villains in games be these more normal guys. I've noticed this trend more recently. They're normal guys who turn bad, right? Or he's like a human and then he becomes corrupted by some power. And then you got X-Death who's just like sitting there with his armor on. He's just like, I am X-Death, I am a bad guy. And I'm like, yeah! Right? Like just giant cartoonish villain, and I really like that. The sympathetic villain's getting a little old. Yeah. Like, I think there should be a mix of both. I like just big evil dude, right? You would love Gongora from Lost Odyssey to Squid. I talk about Lost Odyssey every fucking minute I can. Gongora is my favorite, my most favorite game villain, for sure. Yeah, that's the thing, is like, I like villains in games that are just malevolent things, right? Like energy, whatever. Or, great example, Majora's Mask. The mask itself is just this malevolent, evil mask that then attaches to some poor kid, you know, and then he becomes all fucked up and he starts doing evil, right? But it's just a malevolent mask, and that's the source of everything. I like that, because sometimes to make a really big villain, like trying to make them realistic doesn't work. It doesn't always work out, you know? The only problem with sympathetic villains is they're too hard to write. Most of the time they're just cringe. Yeah, and I agree with what Squid said to that. Like, they keep writing sympathetic villains as these villains where like something happens and they're like, oh, now I'm evil. This is my Joker moment. I was pretty normal actually, but now I'm gonna kill the world. And I'm like, that's not very realistic. Yeah, now I'm a mad guy. If you are a not so good person and then something really bad happens, you are wronged, you're gonna do like a bad thing at that toward that person to get back at them, right? You're not gonna become like the world eater. That's just not realistic. But then when they throw in supernatural shit and they're like, oh, but this person was corrupted by this thing, and then this like energy or spirit or whatever thing they decided is for the sake of the story, you know, made them worse. Then I'm like, oh, okay, so what seems like their little motivation turned into something else. Like that makes sense to me. They took my iPad cloud. I'll never forgive them. I played Sonic Adventure Battle 2 and that evil storyline really freaked me up. I'm dark now. I've got a dark soul. I've got a dark mind. It's stuff like that where I'm like, I don't know. When the sympathetic bad guy's only not bad trait is that he's attractive and funny. Oh my god. Yeah, constantly. Every time, man. The possessed excuse never works IRL. You just run around, I'm possessed. I think it needs to be that we just need more variation in how villains are written. I feel like people keep falling back on the same two paths for them every time. I don't know. Corruption plots suck. Takes the initiative from a character, makes it the demons told me to do it. They are often poorly written. There are ones that are really well written where it's this like, there's more focus on the internal struggle of them versus the bad thoughts of them at their base nature, and then like they're just someone who loses to that type of plot, right? And if they write that well, it's really good. But if they don't write it well, then it's just like, yeah, it's what you said. It's just like, oh, the voices told me to do it, so I did it. And that's like just a weak guy plot. You said, I'm tired of the whole bad guy is so hot thing. I think it's great for marketing. So I'm not gonna fully disagree with you, but like I will say I'm not gonna blame them, because like you've got to have a character that is horribly attractive to get people to play your game or watch your movie. Look at fucking Baldur's Gate. Look at how many people looked at it simply because they liked the character Astarion, and they were like, oh, his voice plus his demeanor, plus he's a little baddie, ooh, right? And then they played the game and they liked it, and they were like, oh, actually, I do like CRPGs. But like, if you just showed them the gameplay of the game and tried to get them to play it without showing them that character, they never would have tried it. You know, but the thing I do like actually with the thing where they keep making like villains attractive is they keep giving them one or two physical traits that are like conventionally unattractive, but then you can still see that they're attractive through that, which is more realistic, and I like that, right? They'll make them a type of attractive that feels like more realistic, not just some guy who's just like protagonist beautiful, right? And I think that is a good thing. Because most attractive characters in games, if they're on the good side, they don't make them look like realistically attractive. They're just like, we're gonna make the most beautiful being we possibly can with no flaws physically, and it's you get a little tired of it, to be honest, or at least for me, you know. So do you like a shrewd, suave villain who knows what they're doing? Yeah. It's like a character trope that just everyone loves. You want more damaged hero characters like Guts? Yeah, it's more realistic, man. Would you say you had a huge crush on Baroness from G.I. Joe, Evelyn from He-Man? Dude, did you watch Masters of the Universe? Did you watch the one on Netflix, the newer one with Evelyn in it? They did her real good. I love Skeletor. Actually, Skeletor is one of my most favorite villains. He's just a bad guy. He's just a bad guy, and he's a skeleton face, and you know what? We love him for it. I don't know. I love Skeletor. Yeah, he's my favorite.